This is Edwin Canestracci, and yes, this is my last review of a Megadeth album. Edwin Canestracci, yeah! It's not my last review overall, just my last review of a Megadeth album, because this is their last album. Yes, the last Megadeth album. And yes, I'm drinking wine. Yeah, I'm drinking wine. It's fitting. It's a last supper for Megadeth. And I'm drinking a little, actually I'm polishing off this bottle. A little Coppola with the red Pinot Noir. Not so bad. Pretty good. Not bad for like $18. Not bad. I don't think I ever did a video drinking wine before. I had a pasta dinner. It's snowing outside. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's snowing. Yeah, after many years of living in sunny climates, I haven't had snow in a long time. It's been a minute since I've had snow in my life. And I love it. I think it's great. I love Nashville. It's a great city. Life is good. I wish we all could be sitting here in Nashville during a blizzard, drinking wine, talking about a new Megadeth album. I really wish we could all do that right now. So I'm savoring that. I'm savoring that for all the people that don't have that in their lives. So Megadeth, I don't think there's a band, especially in the big four thrash bands, which if you didn't know are Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax. From what I know, from when I talk to my metal and rock bros, people are all over the place with Megadeth and their thoughts. Metallica, like everyone loves like the first 3 or 4 albums, and then you get varying opinions. Slayer, people kind of love them or hate them. Anthrax, they're kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the big four that people kind of take shots at, although they do have their defenders, and I'm one of them. I'm an Anthrax defender, along with my brother Ian Wadley. However, Ian Wadley is one of these people, and I love you, brother. He's one of these people who is really hard on Megadeth. Yeah, there's people out there that are really hard on Megadeth, and Ian thinks Megadeth has the most inconsistent discography of any of the big four. I respectfully disagree with my brother. Yeah, I actually think Megadeth has the most consistent discography of the big four. If you want to be reductive and call Megadeth a thrash band, they really aren't, especially when you look at their entire discography. But if we're including them in that group, the only band that matches them for consistency, in my opinion, is Overkill. That's it. And Megadeth has definitely taken more chances than Overkill in their career. I would say Overkill's my favorite thrash band overall, but if we're talking the big four, it's still, like I said back in that discography video I did back in the day, it's Megadeth. Megadeth is my favorite of the big four, my second favorite overall. I do think Ride the Lightning is better than any Megadeth album, and maybe Years of Decay, Overkill's Years of Decay, but Rust in Peace comes pretty damn close. To me, that's my third favorite thrash album of all time. It's a masterpiece. Peace sells, but who's buying's a masterpiece. Killing is my business, but business is good is a masterpiece. So Far, So Good, So What is a masterpiece. I love Euthanasia. I think that's an awesome album. Endgame, Dystopia, and the mid-tier albums I think are really good. Like I really like 13. I like Countdown to Extinction, although it's funny because that's like their most commercially successful album, but to me that's a mid-tier album. But I like it. It's a good album. I like Cryptic Writings and Risk. I know that's a controversial opinion. Most people shit on those albums, but I think they're cool experimental pop rock albums and I dig them. I think they're much better than Load and Reload if we're going to compare them to the equivalent Metallica albums. There's only one Megadeth album I flat out don't like, and that's The World Needs a Hero. I think that album's a dud. I don't like that album. And Super Collider is just meh. I think it's a meh album. So that I think is the second weakest album. So for the most part, I guess you would think I'm a Megadeth apologist or too lenient or too easy on them. I just like the band. I like what Dave Mustaine's doing. I think he's cool. I think he's more creative and imaginative than most of the songwriters and music acts in metal and thrash. He thinks outside the box more. And he is an amazing guitarist. The greatest guitarist in thrash ever, in my opinion. Hey, even my brother Ian Wadley agrees with me there. Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I bounce between is he a genius or like an idiot savant? I listen to this new album, and I think, I guess he's a little more of an idiot savant maybe. But there's some mad genius to Dave Mustaine, and I always thought he was a very interesting character overall, and I think he helped enrich and expand on the vocabulary of rock music as we know it. So I'm a very big fan. I'm a very big fan of Dave Mustaine and Megadeth. I reviewed every Megadeth album. Every single Megadeth album. I hit most of them when I did a discography review 5 years ago. Yeah, it was 5 years ago, according to YouTube. So it was when we were in the middle of the panorama. It's one of my earlier videos, actually. And I reviewed every single Megadeth album from the first one, Killing Is My Business, all the way up to and including Dystopia, which at the time was their latest album. And about a year or so after that, in 2022, I believe, I reviewed what was then their newest album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. So up to now, I've reviewed every single Megadeth album, and I knew this day would come. This day would come where there'd be a final Megadeth album, because Dave Mustaine is getting up there in the years. To his credit, he's gracefully bowing out. We'll find out how gracefully in a few minutes. We could all agree to some degree he is gracefully bowing out and has cited that this is the last Megadeth album. And I'm holding him to it. If he releases another Megadeth album in a couple years, I ain't reviewing it. Just on principle. That's right, just on principle. He says it's the last one, so I'm saying it's the last one I'm reviewing. This is it. My discography review is officially over after this video. If you want to go back and watch the original discography review, then watch my Sick, Dying, and Dead review, and this review, that's it. You know my thoughts on every single Megadeth album. I want to address one elephant in the room. The other Dave Elfison. Yeah, he should have been on this album. Yeah, he should have been on this album. Listen, I didn't even care that he wasn't on the last one. If Dave wanted to give Junior like a little timeout, I get that, a little timeout. But come on, this is the last Megadeth album. For the last Megadeth album, you're not gonna have the other Dave, the only other really consistent member of Megadeth ever. You're not going to have him? And just for what? Come on, there's people that did far worse things. The girl was of legal age and it was consensual. Who are you to judge, Dave Mustaine? Who are you to judge? Maybe Junior wanted too much money. Who knows? Maybe he wanted too much of a piece of the merch. That's between them. They're two adult grown men. I think it's lame that he didn't bring him back for the end. I mean, even Cheers brought back Shelley Long for the last episode. You know what I mean? If they could do that, Dave could have brought back Junior for this, you know? But he didn't, so whatever. So that's disappointing right there. So I said my piece there. Moving on. Okay. I want to just go back to the last album, The Sick, The Dying, The Dead, because I gave that album, I wouldn't go so far to say a mixed review. For the most part, I was positive, but you could definitely perceive a certain layer of disappointment, which I had because I was very hyped up by the singles, and the album prior to that, Dystopia, I think is a modern metal masterpiece and actually one of their strongest albums. I think I was a little hard on The Sick, Dying, and Dead, especially, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but after listening to the new album, I was kind of hard on The Sick, Dying, and Dead. It's actually a pretty good album. And some of those songs, even some of the songs that I made fun of, like Junkie and Mission to Mars, I actually like now. Those songs actually grew on me. I like that it's an eclectic, fun, gonzo Megadeth album, like so many Megadeth albums. And yeah, I was a little disappointed because the first two singles were these awesome thrash songs, We'll Be Back and Night Stalkers. We'll Be Back and Night Stalkers were so fucking kick-ass. I just thought that whole album was going to be like a thrashorama, and it wasn't. But instead, we got like this more eclectic mosaic of different Megadeth styles, the mid-tempo, more melodic stuff, the more experimental stuff, and the thrash stuff. It was a pretty good mixture of the different styles of Megadeth over the years, and a lot of great tracks. Those two tracks that I mentioned, and Life in Hell, God, is that a banger. Soldier On, I mean, a lot of great songs, a lot of great songs. I still think it's a mid-tier Megadeth album, but I think a mid-tier Megadeth album is still a really strong album. Thinking about it now, that would have been a better album to end on, because it was kind of a better sum-up of Megadeth than I think this album. But we'll get into it. I'm not entirely going to hate on this album. So if you're a diehard Megadeth fan that loves this album, put down the knives, calm down a little bit. It's going to be all right. But at the same time, I think it's good that he's wrapping up. Yeah, I think it's good that he's wrapping up. And I wouldn't have even thought this like so long ago. I mean, God, Dystopia was only like 2016. It wasn't that long ago. And then The Sick, Dying, and the Dead, I was a little disappointed in it when it first came out, and I said it was like a mid-tier album. But still, I even said in that video, like, I'm looking forward to the next Megadeth album. Like, it still had enough fire and enough interesting ideas going on that I didn't really think we were coming to the end. Now, I know Dave's, he's had a lot of health issues, and that's a factor to why he's wrapping up, but I didn't think it was going to end with such a kind of, what can I say, a muted thud. Okay, so this album is called Megadeth. That is also the name of the band. So that makes this a self-titled album. Artists usually make their first album a self-titled album, or when they sell out to MTV and they want to rebrand themselves, like Heart and Metallica did, they suddenly have a self-titled album. So they're like reintroducing themselves to a new fan base. So that's usually the tactic. Usually it's either a first album or it's an album that the band's trying to make you think it's a first album. That's generally seems to be the tactic with a self-titled album. Always thinking outside the box, that Dave Mustaine. He's like, hey, why not the last album? Why not the last album? And if this last album was really a good sum up, like I said the last album was, I would have applauded him. I would have said that's a genius move. A kind of an album that sums up everything that Megadeth was ever about, all the different phases of Megadeth. Kind of like, I think, the Beatles when they did the White Album, which is technically a self-titled album. That's just the Beatles. That's a perfect album title for that, because not only were they going for minimalism with that album, but I feel like that album summed up a lot of different eras for the Beatles. Rock and roll, psychedelia, pop. It had a lot of the different styles that they had done. So it worked as a kind of sum up of everything the Beatles were about up to that point. So if this album Megadeth did the same thing, I would have applauded it being a self-titled album. I would even be cool with the simple album cover, just on white, Vic Rattlehead, in flames. It works. I like it. I like the concept. I like the approach. I like that's white instead of black, a nice contrast to the first album cover. And I love the first single, which we're going to get to in a second. So I was all into this. I was prepared to really get behind this album, actually. I was disappointed that Junior was not part of it, but I'm still going to get behind it. For the most part, I really liked his new lineup. He's got a new guitarist on this. Kind of funny to get a new guitarist right at the end on your last album. And that Kiko guy was great from the last two albums. But hey, this guy's great too. I'm going to murder his name right now as I read it off of Wikipedia. Timu Montisari? I think I might have got that right. Okay, maybe I'm not murdering it. Timu Montusari. I made a similar joke last time in the last Megadeth review, but I'm going to make it again. For a xenophobic guy who hates the New World Order, it seems like Dave's a big-time globalist when it comes to hiring lead guitarists. He always has these guitarists with suspiciously foreign names. This guy's great. He's a great guitarist. I mean, God, the leads that him and Dave are trading off, it's one of the highlights of this album. Always great guitar solos on a Megadeth album. Dave always does a great job of getting lead guitars. He finds these lead guitars from all over the world, because he's a globalist, I guess. He finds these guitars. He finds the perfect guitarist to complement his style, which is like more jagged. He usually gets one that's a little more dexterous and fluid, and they usually work together, the two solos, because Dave also is, soloing as well, and they trade off solos, and it's great. That's one of Dave's gifts, is not just being a great lead guitarist, but having an ear for other great lead guitars that he will play well with. And it's a musicality that I feel you don't have in any of the other major thrash bands, even though all the major thrash bands are very musical. But I still think Dave and the various talented musicians he played with in Megadeth throughout his career have always been at a higher level. And for the most part, he keeps up with that. Like, you hear, like, this band could play some really amazing music. Now, in terms of the actual songs and what they're given, well, that's a whole other story. But let's just get into this. Now we're going to get into this album, Megadeth by Megadeth. Tipping Point, the lead-off single and the opening track. And like I said, I love this song. Best song on the album. Great song. It's a fucking banger. This was just similar to the other Thrashorama singles from the last album. This got me excited, but now my expectations were somewhat measured. I would have been just happy, like I said before, if this was like The Sick, Dying, and Dead. I was not expecting Dystopia Part 2. I was just expecting the Sick Dying Dead Part 2, and I would have been happy with that. But we didn't get that. We got Megadeth by Megadeth. All right. So Tipping Point, though, great song. It's a banger. I love it. It's a modern day Megadeth classic, and if there was just one or two bangers on this album, I was happy. So I guess I am happy. It's not just in the past tense, it's in the present tense as well. Great song, just thrashy, simple. Straddles that line a little bit between thrash and the new wave of British heavy metal, like a lot of Megadeth and Metallica does. Good snotty vocals, great riffage. God, the riffs that Dave knocks off, the soloing, just has this energy to it and a fluid quality that most thrash bands, old or young, can't match. This is grade A Megadeth in my opinion. I love it, so we're off to a great start. I Don't Care. This is another one of the singles. I didn't really care for this song at first when I heard it. I thought the lyrics were a little juvenile and sophomoric. It seemed like kind of a boring song in my opinion. However, it has grown on me. I like it, especially listening to it in context of the album coming off a Tipping Point. It keeps the party going. It has a fun punky vibe, and punk was always an influence along with traditional classic rock and metal with Dave Mustaine, and I like him throwing in the punk side a little bit. And also his Alice Cooper influence, which was always very prominent, and you could hear it all over. In a lot of ways, this sounds like a punk song with Alice Cooper singing it. And I like the lyrics. Even though they're juvenile, they are snotty and fun and have attitude. This album's giving me a good vibe. It's like, hey, this is like a fun, straightforward, thrash, metal, punk, rock and roll album, so I'm into it. Hey God! Question mark. I don't know why there's a question mark. I mean, I don't know. Is Dave questioning his faith or is he just bad with grammar? I don't know. But anyway, this song's just kind of all right. It's the first indication, and I've said this before, third tracks are always very telling. When a third track is good, this is probably going to be a good album. But when the third track is kind of that's when you realize this might not be the album I was hoping it would be. And that's definitely the case with this. And now I have listened to this album a couple times, and every time it hits Hey God, it's always a little bit of a letdown. Not a horrible song, and I'm sure it means a lot to Dave. It sounds like it's a personal song, and it sounds, very honest and authentic and raw to a degree. But it's definitely one of the weaker songs. Actually, I would say this is like maybe the third weakest song on the album. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. We could recover, but I'm already feeling like a little bit of the air has been let out of the tires here. But things pick up quickly with the fourth track, Let There Be Shred. This is a song I hear a lot of different opinions about, just like Megadeth themselves. I don't get it. I don't get the negative opinions, because to me, this song fucking rocks. I love this song. Second best song on the album, in my opinion. I even like just the title, Let There Be Shred. It's fun. This is something I said back in my discography review 5 years ago. I said one of the things I liked about Megadeth, it's another reason why I love Overkill as well, and Anthrax back in the 80s, but only back in the 80s. They got very serious afterwards. But anyway, Megadeth and Overkill seem to be the only two major thrash bands that actually have fun sometimes. Even though they do a lot of dark shit, there's always this pervasive sardonic humor that always manifests itself on all their albums, and in their songs, in their tone, their attitude. Metallica, they're a lot of fun live. Like live, they're a blast. They're a fun band. But still, on their albums, they're always so serious. It's like the Joker. Why so serious? All these bands that were fun and punky and kind of off the cuff in the 80s, after the 90s, I don't think it's a coincidence, but after the 90s, they all got very gloomy and serious all the time. The only two that didn't were Megadeth and Overkill. They're the only two that have light and shade, in my opinion. A song like Let There Be Shred, Metallica, yeah, back when Dave was in the band, they might do a song like that. But after that, no, too serious to do a song like Let There Be Shred. I fucking love this song. It's fun. It's rocking. Like the title suggests, there's a lot of shredding going on. I even like the stupid martial arts video that's attached to it. It's fun. Don't you people just like that fun sometimes? It's rock and roll. And it's upbeat. It's punchy. It's melodic. It's catchy. It's got hooks. I'm back in there. Yeah, I'm back in there. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a great album. Puppet Parade, the next track, Puppet Parade, which is the corresponding single with the release of the album. And I get it why, because it has a melodic chorus that's similar to Symphony of Destruction, which is one of their biggest hits. So I get why they would release it as a single. It's a good song. I like it. I didn't like it so much at first. And yes, the title at first glance, it's a stupid title. But it's catchy, it's melodic, it's a little sneaky. It's another shade, and it's one of the things that makes Megadeth interesting. This is another shade. This is their 90s side. This is the 90s melodic, mid-tempo, catchy pop metal side. And I dig it. I think it's a catchy tune. I don't mind it, especially coming off of Let There Be Shred. It's another shade. I can rock with it. I can dig it. But then we get to Another Bad Day. The obvious joke here is another bad song. But I don't think all the other songs, with the exception of Hey God, and even Hey God I wouldn't say was bad. I just think it's kind of meh. So this is really the first bad song on the album. But yeah, it's bad. The song sucks. I do not like this song. First major clunker on the album. You had a meh third song, and now a clunker at track 6. So okay, so that's not too promising for the last Megadeth album anyway. I don't know. I've heard it a couple times, and every time I hear it, I kind of forget what it sounds like. It's just a very, very forgettable and pedestrian song. I heard this bonus track, Bloodlust. That song's so much better. That song's so much better than this shitty song. That's unfair. Just because I chose to buy this album on iTunes and I don't get Bloodlust, that's not fair. That's a Target Ponzi scheme as far as I'm concerned. It's not really a Ponzi scheme, but I like using the word Ponzi scheme sometimes, even when it's incorrect to use it. So if you're out there, I think my brother Mick Watkins might have got the Target version. If you got the Target version, shoot me over that track. I'd like to have a Bloodlust, catchy, fun little thrashy metal tune. And that's exactly the kind of song that should have been following Puppet Parade. After Puppet Parade, you should have heard a kind of thrashy song, I think. But no, instead you got another mid-tempo song, but one that's shittier and not as memorable. Moving on. Made to Kill. An improvement from the last song. It is at least somewhat thrashy. It's a little more aggressive. It's a little punchy. I don't hate it. I wouldn't say it's a standout. I wouldn't say it's great by any means. It's a little by the numbers. It's a little derivative. But, it's all right. I would say it was a decent enough filler track. But after Another Bad Day, we really needed something better than just a decent enough filler track. But at least it's thrashy and upbeat. Obey the Call. Obey the Call is a song that I've seen a few people say they like. And it's okay. It's okay. I don't hate it. It's kind of catchy in spots. It's, again, kind of a mid-tempo. There's some tempo changes. It does some interesting stuff. It's melodic. It has a melodic chorus again. It's obvious that at this point, Dave is definitely focusing more on the Countdown of Extinction and Euthanasia and 13 side of his music, but this album is not as strong as any of those albums, in my opinion. This is kind of how Dave wants to go out. He wants to go out with kind of a mid-tempo, quasi-poppy metal album. All right, fine, whatever. I Am War. Okay, I Am War picks up a little bit. It's better than the last, 3 songs. I will say this, the songs are short at least. If you're going to be kind of mediocre, at least be short. And I like the fact that it's just a 10-song album if you don't count the bonus tracks. I Am War is all right. It's an all right song. Maybe it'll grow on me. It feels a little heavy-handed, the lyrics, but it does a few cool things musically. It's all right. I don't hate it, but it's clear now that we're to the second last track. Unless this last track is going to be a real banger for the ages, we're definitely leaning towards one of the weaker Megadeth albums, in my opinion. Okay, so then we get to the last note. This is it. This is the last note. This is the last proper track on a Megadeth album. And this is the song he's going out with. He's summing it all up. The last note. I like it conceptually. I like that Dave is leaning into it. He's all into self-mythologizing and all that. And I'm all for that. I believe be true to the myth you make of yourself. So I like that Dave Mustaine wants to make a myth out of himself in his life. That's great. He's earned it. But we deserve better. We deserve better for a last Megadeth song. This song is just not that good. I'm sorry. I don't even mind how it kind of begins with the lighter guitar and his kind of spoken word, kind of husky old guy voice. I think that's kind of cool, actually. And it's a little different from Megadeth. It's kind of cool. But then it kind of gets into the Hangar 18 guitar chord progression that he does a lot actually on this album. It's kind of sing-songy Megadeth. It would have been really nice for the last track to kind of go back to Killing Is My Business and Business Business is Good Megadeth, to kind of go full circle and give us a real fucking vicious banger at the end. That would have been cool. And with a song like Tipping Point, like, it shows that he had it in him, and the band had it in them, definitely. That I think they could have gave us one scorcher at the end. But instead, he gives us this kind of sing-songy little "bye, I'm leaving" kind of thing, and it's a little depressing. It's kind of a bummer. It's kind of a bummer that this is how Megadeth's ending. The muted thud at the end of Megadeth's otherwise really awesome career. And I don't want to sound like a hater, because I wouldn't say I even dislike this album. There are some great tracks. Like I said, I love Tipping Point. I like I Don't Care. I love Let There Be Shred, and I like Puppet Parade. It's really the second half. Yeah, for the most part, the first half is a solid album, and then the second half really dips down. Especially considering this was the last album again, I felt like Dave should have really pushed himself to give us something a little stronger, at least as strong as the last album. And it's not. It's lesser than the last album. And the last album, even though I do like it and think it's a really good album, was not as good as Dystopia. So we definitely have diminishing returns here. Well, I guess Dave himself knows, like, that's why he's got one foot out the door. He's going to tour for a couple years and then wrap it up. And, like, I guess he knows that this is it. Like, the energy, the fire, it's fading out. I mean, he even sings that more or less on the last note. It's a little bit of a bummer, but it happens. We all get old. Time runs out. The sands of time. On my discography review, when I was talking about Super Collider, I said one thing about Super Collider is Dystopia made it a better album because no longer was Super Collider, we didn't think of it anymore as the potential last Megadeth album. Because obviously every time a band gets older and they get up in the years, you always think a newer release might be their last release. So you think that. So you always hold it up to that standard. Is this the last statement of the band? And with this album, we know, because Dave said it's the last album. And even though I'm disappointed in it, I'm holding him to it. I'm never reviewing another Megadeth album ever again. At least I won't make a video about it. Like, I'll tell you what I think on Facebook or whatever. It's not the worst Megadeth album, but I would only actually put it above two albums. I still think The World Needs a Hero is their weakest album, and I think this is stronger than Super Collider, which even I don't hate that album, but it's pretty average. And this is also pretty average from a band that I think for the most part was not a pretty average band. For the most part, I love or like most of their albums. So I'm definitely not a hater, and many of you, like Ian Wally, think I'm way too easy on the band. I want to end with talking about the bonus track of Ride the Lightning. Yeah, one of the bonus tracks I did get was the Ride the Lightning bonus track, where Megadeth, this lineup of Megadeth, does Ride the Lightning. Now, Ride the Lightning was one of those songs, one of those early Metallica songs that Dave Mustaine was a co-writer of. He was listed as a co-songwriter of that song, and you could always hear it. You could kind of hear the Dave Mustaine element of that song, even back with the original Metallica version. And I get what he's doing. It's kind of like a full circle thing. I don't mind it. I think it's a little weird that with the bonus track, it's kind of like it makes it the last track. So it's a little weird for him to be ending on a cover. Even if it's a song he co-wrote, it's still a Metallica song. So I don't know. It's a little weird. It fits in with his pathology, though, and his obsession with Metallica, I guess. To me, it would have been a little bit cooler if it was just like a second to last track. If it wasn't a bonus track, like they could have got rid of that one fucking dumb song. Another Bad Day. Come on, Another Bad Day. Fuck that song. This is the thing. They do a good version of it. It's a good cover. Obviously, it's not as great as the original Metallica version. Can't touch that. Doesn't have that same fire and rawness of the original. But just the same, it's a decent cover. The guitar works great on it. Dave does a decent job singing it. Doesn't have the same bite, obviously, as young, filled with piss and vinegar James Hetfield had, or Dave Mustaine would have had if he was young. If anything, it makes you think about how cool would have it sounded like if Killing Is My Business era Megadeth covered Ride the Lightning. Like, that would have been a scorcher. But it's still good. It's still really good because it's just amazing composition. It's a great song. I made a joke on Facebook. I said that I was listening to Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, and then listening to the new album for the first time, which is what I did. And I said it was an unfair comparison. Well, that's kind of how I think about Ride the Lightning. Like, the problem is, even old Megadeth playing Ride the Lightning just kind of brings attention to the fact that Dave was a far more imaginative and passionate songwriter back in the day. Like, that song's just so much better than even the best songs on this album. Even Tipping Point and Let There Be Shred are not anywhere near the song that Ride the Lightning is. And then when you think about it, you think about Ride the Lightning, you think about Peace Sells But Who's Buying, you think about In My Darkest Hour, you think about Holy Wars, and it makes you start thinking about just how kick-ass Dave was back when he was younger. I'm glad he covered it. It's cool. It's the best song on the album, if you count it. But at the same time, it does kind of show you how Dave lost the fire. Like, he could not write a song like that. Overall, I would say mixed bag, leaning towards negative. I guess that's this review. I guess for the most part, it's a negative review. But it does have a couple bangers. Even Skribbal, my boy Skribbal, who is the biggest Megadeth fan I know, has a similar opinion about this album. And you should definitely check out his book. Skribbal wrote a book about Megadeth and how much he loves them. I will leave a link down below. Buy that shit, bitches. So anyway, I'm Eddie Canestracci, getting drunk on wine. The Last Supper for Megadeth. That's it, I'm done. No more Megadeth reviews. No more. I've now officially done the entire discography. Don't forget to like this video, ring that notification bell. I never said that before, but that's something people say. Ring that notification bell. I don't even know what that is. Is that like, is there a bell you ring? I don't know. Ring it, fine. I guess it's a good thing. Other YouTubers say it, so it must be a good thing. Ring that, share it, subscribe, do all that shit. You're getting free content, free boozy content, free reviews, because you want to hear what I think about shit. So there you go. I just told you what I think about shit. So once again, I'm Eddie Canestracci, and I am out of here.